Hi, my friend. I'm really happy you're here with me today. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Mia, and this is the Heal and Grow podcast. A quiet space created for those moments when you feel tired, when your mind feels a little heavy, and you just need to slow down and breathe for a while. Here, you don't have to be perfect. You can just come as you are, and take a small step to feel a little better. Today was a very normal day for me. I woke up, made a cup of coffee, sat down at my desk, ready to work. I told myself, okay, let's do something good today. But then I just sat there, looking at my screen, thinking, trying to start, and nothing came. No ideas, no direction, just a very quiet, empty feeling. I tried to push myself a little more. Maybe I just need to focus. Maybe I should try harder. But the more I tried, the more stuck I felt. So I stopped for a moment. I leaned back, took a deep breath, and just sat there in silence. And I realized, this feeling is not new. Maybe you felt it too. That moment when you want to create something, but your mind just doesn't move, and slowly it starts to feel frustrating. You begin to question yourself. Why can't I think of anything? Did I lose my creativity? But maybe it's not that we don't have ideas. Maybe we just don't understand what's really happening inside us. So in this episode, I want to talk about that quiet moment when creativity feels blocked and how we can gently find our way back again. And after going through that, I started to notice something. Maybe the problem is not that we don't have ideas, but the way we are trying to force them. Let's talk about that. If your work needs creativity, like writing, marketing, art, design, teaching, or content creation, you may know this feeling very well. You sit down, open your laptop, and tell yourself, okay, let's create something. But then, nothing comes. The screen is empty, and your mind feels empty too. In those moments, we often try to force ourselves to be creative. We push harder, we expect too much from ourselves, sometimes more than what we can handle right now. And that pressure only makes things heavier. You try to think harder, you wait for an idea to appear, but the more you try, the more quiet your mind becomes. And slowly, a small doubt starts to grow inside you. Why can't I think of anything? Did I lose my creativity? Was I ever really good? Or just lucky before? If you've ever felt this way, I want you to pause for a moment, because what you're experiencing is more common than you think. There are moments when you still want to create, you still care, but nothing seems to move inside your mind. You may sit there for a long time, starting, stopping, trying again, but everything feels a bit heavy, a bit forced, like you've lost your natural flow. And that can feel frustrating, even confusing, because you know you can create. You've done it before, but right now, you just can't reach it. This experience actually has a name. It's called a creative block. But here is something very important to understand. It does not mean you have no ideas, and it does not mean you've lost your creativity. Most of the time, it simply means your mind is too full, too tired, or under too much pressure. And because of that, your natural flow becomes quiet. So in this episode, we are not going to force ideas to come. Instead, we're going to understand what is really happening inside your mind and gently bring your creativity back. Not by pushing harder, but by creating space. If we slow down and look a little deeper, we can start to understand this better. A creative block is usually not about having no ideas. It is about what is happening inside your mind. Sometimes you think too much. You want everything to be good from the start, so you keep planning and fixing in your head. And in the end, you don't begin at all. Sometimes your mind is too full. You watch, listen, and read so many things, but you don't give yourself time to process them. So there is no space for new ideas to come. Sometimes it's fear. You don't allow yourself to make something simple or imperfect, and that quiet pressure slowly blocks your creativity. And sometimes you feel a little lost. You're not sure what you really want to say anymore, or you try to be like someone else. So your ideas don't feel natural. They don't feel like you. And when all of these things come together, your mind becomes crowded. A bit heavy. A bit disconnected. But there are also some common misunderstandings about creativity that make this even harder. Many people think creativity means having big, perfect ideas right away. But real creativity often starts small, simple, and even messy. Some people believe you need to feel inspired first. But most of the time, inspiration comes after you begin, not before. And sometimes we think we have to be original all the time. But in reality, it's okay to learn from others and slowly find your own voice. So the problem is not that you don't have ideas. It's that your mind is too crowded, too pressured, or a bit disconnected. And because of that, your creative flow becomes quiet. So if your creative flow becomes quiet, it doesn't mean it's gone. It may just mean you've lost connection to it for a while. This reminds me of a very quiet moment in the movie Kiki's Delivery Service. Kiki is a young witch who once could fly freely. But one day she tries to fly. And she simply can't. No matter how hard she tries, nothing happens. That moment feels very similar to a creative block because it's not that she never had the ability, it's that she cannot access it anymore. She becomes confused and a little scared because something that once felt so natural now feels impossible. And the more she worries, the harder it becomes. If you think about it, this is exactly what happens to us. There are moments when you used to write easily, speak clearly, create freely. But suddenly everything feels heavy. You sit there trying to force it, but the more you push, the further it goes away. Not because your ability is gone, but because your mind is too tense, too tight to let it flow. In the story, Kiki doesn't lose her magic forever. She loses her connection to it. And that is a very important difference. In our lives, we don't really lose creativity. We lose the state that allows creativity to appear. When we are too stressed, too afraid, or trying too hard to control the result, we disconnect from that natural flow inside us. Later, Kiki meets a painter, someone who also understands what it means to create. And the painter tells her something very simple but very honest. When I can't paint, I stop. I go for a walk, I look at the scenery, I rest. And when I'm ready, I start again. It sounds simple, but it carries a deep truth. Creativity is not something you can force. It is something you return to. I remember when I first heard this. It changed the way I looked at being stuck. Before, I thought I needed to try harder, be more disciplined, push myself more. But that only made me feel more tired and more disconnected. And slowly, I started to understand. Maybe the problem was not that I wasn't doing enough. Maybe I was not giving myself enough space to feel, to rest, to reconnect. So now when I feel stuck, I don't panic as much as before. I see it as a signal, not a failure. A signal that something inside me needs space, needs quiet, needs kindness. And just like Kiki, I trust that the ability is still there. It hasn't disappeared. It's just waiting for the moment I come back to myself a little more gently. And maybe if you are feeling stuck right now, you are not losing your creativity either. You are just a little disconnected from it. And that means you can always find your way back. So, if creative block is not the enemy, then how do we move through it? The answer is not to force ideas to come, but to gently bring your flow back from the inside. There is a simple reason for this. Your brain has two main modes. One is when you try hard, focus, and analyze. The other is when you relax, and your mind starts to connect ideas naturally. Most creative ideas don't come when you're forcing them. They come when your mind is calm. Like when you are walking, showering, or doing nothing. That's why slowing down can actually help you think better. So first, stop trying to create something good and start creating something real. Instead of asking, is this good enough? Try asking, what am I truly thinking right now? And just write it down simply and honestly, without editing. You can write messy journal lines, draw random shapes. It doesn't have to make sense. When you remove the need to be right, your mind feels free to explore, and that's where creativity begins. Authenticity is one of the most powerful sources of creativity because it comes from something real inside you. Second, reduce the noise and create space. When your mind is too full, like a cup filled to the top, nothing new can enter. If you feel empty or stuck, maybe it's not because you lack ideas. Maybe you've been consuming the same kind of information for too long. So try to change it. If you often read about psychology, try reading about architecture. If you usually watch business content, try a nature documentary. When different ideas meet each other, new perspectives appear, and also, give your mind real quiet moments. Try walking without music, watering your plants, or simply looking at the sky for 5 minutes. These small pauses help your brain move into a more relaxed state, where ideas begin to connect naturally. Third, don't wait for inspiration. Ask better questions. Ideas don't come from nowhere. They come from attention. You can ask yourself simple questions like, what am I struggling with lately? Or, what do I really want to say? Or even, if no one is judging me, what would I want to create right now? Very often, the answer is already inside you. You just need to listen. Fourth, allow yourself to create something imperfect. The pressure to make something valuable right away is one of the biggest blocks. So give yourself permission to make something bad. Tell yourself, this is just my first version. When you remove pressure, action becomes easier. And when action feels safe, creativity starts to move again. Fifth, come back to your body. Take a slow walk, breathe deeply, stretch a little. Because creativity is not only in your mind, it is also in your state. When your body relaxes, your thoughts become lighter too. And maybe you can remember this simple image. Creativity is like breathing. There is a time to breathe in, to learn, to observe, to absorb. And there is a time to breathe out, to create, to express, to share. If you are finding it hard to breathe out right now, Maybe this is your moment to slow down, to breathe in deeply, and allow yourself to rest. And finally, start small. Don't wait to create something big. Just write a few lines, record 1 minute, or note down 3 simple ideas. Flow doesn't begin with big action. It begins with small movement. And maybe the most important thing to remember is this: creative block is not here to stop you. It is simply a signal that your mind needs space, your body needs rest, and you need to return gently to yourself. I truly hope that from today, you will be a little more gentle with your creativity and a little more patient with yourself. And I hope you will keep finding small moments of inspiration, not just sometimes, but in your everyday life. And if you feel like you need a quiet place to come back to, you can explore more episodes in this playlist. I've made them for moments just like this. When you feel a bit lost, a bit tired, or simply need a gentle reminder, I'll always be here with you on this journey of understanding yourself, growing slowly, and creating in your own way.